My sub has expired. One moment.
I'm a fucking rocket ship. I got a shield in front of me. Oh yeah, I'm a rocket ship. I don't know what this song's about.
Damn it! Where is my inspiration?
Flying through the sky at the speed of light. Here I am, a rocket ship. I can't find my inspiration in life.
Son of a bitch. What am I aiming for? God, if I only had someone to believe in me. God, but who truly am I? What's it all mean?
Morning, Ulu. Yeah, while I'm here, 7, 6. Five, 6, 1, 7. Six, 2, 3, 9. Okay. Okay. Alice and Alphino tell me they'd finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrain from saying much more than that. Certainly they are reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account?
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Popularis, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's 3rd Legion clashed with the 1st, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. one after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvus is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession, and in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varus giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Oh, we're going to fight a primal of Emperor Varus, aren't we?
Varus spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends, I must speak with you.
Well, it turns out we didn't need to be
A young
naming
man was caught
Grisha
trying to
all this
steal our
time.
supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans?
Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a Temple Knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Julius Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
How about 4, an even light party?
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
What would your mother say if I let you 2 go by yourselves? I feel like we should have Lucia or Maxima go because they're Garlean. But
I can
the
see
plot's
that
having us
persuading
go.
you otherwise is a lost cause. But you will proceed with the utmost care.
A couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
You'll be received as invited guests, so I urge you deeply to observe proper social etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else, remember this. Thancred in particular will be worried sick if you are gone too long. May the Fury watch over and keep you. I know, this won't bring back Licinia or her sister. Taking some risks, making the same mistakes as possible, but better than to try than to give up every time. Perhaps it's unwise to volunteer for a mission so soon after the previous disaster. Nevertheless, I do not squander this opportunity. What's up, Magni? The lowly task of keeping watch over provisions was not normally would not normally befit the sun, but these being unusual circumstances, I will let no man take that which is not by rights theirs. Even the children ready? I'll explain the route once we're outside your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, I will judge that in an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I'd be expecting nothing less. You have our full cooperation. We will do only as instructed. After all, this is what we've been striving for ever since we arrived. Where do you think the headquarters are? I assume there are a few others besides him and this commander have mentioned. That's far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road till we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead. I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I'm Eorzea, he's Alphino, and last but not least, he's missing. Where have I heard that before? No matter, Alphino and Eorzea will watch the road ahead while we bring up the rear. Wasn't lying about there being many dangers. If you're to run, not saunter, run towards the so you're to run, not saunter, run towards the station. If you even think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. Ready to make a dash for the station? Guys, you were supposed to go around the polar bear? God damn it. This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. Looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No, we're just stopping here so I can check for pursuers. Since it appears you've been kept your side of the bargain, we can carry on. North of the station is Rio de Morum, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs. Solteris' shreds have given the chance. Keep close, no wandering off, understood? Heading northeast, keeping on the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes of unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen? Aye, just, they spare their own but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I'll lead the way, but in the event that we're seen, you're to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. See where your comrades chose you. Julius, our contingent has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they're no longer our people, they're beyond saving. Those who thought differently tried to reason with them were butchered in for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Hey, gang. Looks like we're not being followed. We continue onward. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before, only out of desire to remain undiscovered, but that's still a higher priority. We continue to avoid any we should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Just keep following the railway. Look what they've become. Would you stand here and claim that they can be cured? Those exposed to a vast quantity of a primal's Those exposed to a vast quantity of a primal's ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you've seen the monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you will think twice before speaking of a cure. Alright, well, I'm now the same level as my summoner, so I'm gonna go back to being book nerd. And I'll just continue to have Gunbreaker on the back burner when I need it. I'll use Gunbreaker for dungeons for the fast queuing. You've kept your side of the agreement, so I'll keep mine. This way. What level are... Yeah, this is 82. Yeah, we're good. Oh, wait. Oh, is the Aetheryte underground? That makes sense. This is Tertium, one of Garlemald's largest stations, and now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I'll be with you soon. Wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah, I was gonna say, interesting that, like, it must suck for Vritra, where, like, he's out here. Aetheryte's not responding. Dang. Vritra out here maiming himself, you know, just tearing scales off to make the warding scales. Turns out you just needed a radio. That's all you needed. I had no idea they had such expansive structures built underground. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed. And if Julius was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold. Much like the victor's spoils, it would be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive over there. Now comes the true test. He certainly looks the part. I'll deal with you in a moment.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Van Kina, Legatus of the First Legion.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears.
So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and Empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you, if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop. Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed. Even if he allowed himself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
On the coldest, blackest of nights, meager though it may be, we must share the warmth of our fire.
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
I have to remind myself not to touch it, even if it starts to itch. I'd rather not set it off by accident. Anyway, enough about that. Let's learn what we can from the refugees. It'll take more than a trifle such as this to deter us. Compared to what Garlemald's people have suffered in the recent days, these collars are a minor inconvenience. As per Lord Quintus's instructions, I'm to supervise you during your time here in Tetrium. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars, nor would I tell you if I did, and if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So, do you truly intend to speak with the others, or is that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Do as you will, but remember, I'll be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats to the lake, those shock collars will be the least of your worries, understood? Although we're somewhat compromised, to put lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of the situation, and above all else, don't use magic of any sort. You, on the other hand, may go wheresoever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alphino and Alice will pay the price. Dang. It's you! I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them, my comrades and friends, swept them aside in the dozens as though they were nothing to you. And maybe I am too, just another faceless enemy to be cut down, but it won't be long until our countrymen return, until you get what you deserve, mark my words. So cold. I know who you are, the so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face by the blood of our fallen compatriots. I swear I'll... Damn tore the sutures. All the times is the worst lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the third bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. Virgilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life, but we made our escape, took shelter in a mansion, tended to the wounded, and we prepared to strike back, and then night fell. We gathered around the radio, and then the roar, and the capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy, mind intact but body broken, a soldier in name alone, I'd cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. Pretty the same model as the one used at Victor's spoils. Perhaps it's what saved the soldiers from being tempered. You came with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess around with it. There are others throughout the city, but built by Garleans for Garleans. Could teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use an aetherite's power to keep this place lit, though it comes at the cost of its normal function. Okay, so Garlean aetherites are built so that Garleans can use them. Learn anything of note? Then your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are our greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they'll soon perish. I realize there's precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Will you help me tend to them? Who's there? My eyes, they can't see all that well. Thank you. The numbness has subsided a little. I know it won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry and someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. So those you met fare no better? I was afraid you'd say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave him like this. Perhaps we must gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies. Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are in no position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade him? Though we'd need to persuade Julius first. Well, seen enough. Julius, the people have barely enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? You've been scavenging provisions from nearby houses, as most families kept stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we have a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is a greater concern, though. We had some ceruleum set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees or one of the afflicted, for all we know. Either way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum you need, our contingent is secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We'll not accept your charity. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye, everything will change. My comments mentioned something along those lines. Heard something of it, have you? From what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in the bastard's words, loyal servants of the Talafaroi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We identified the seat of the enemy's power, we realized. Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion, saying as much, and instructing them to join forces with provincial legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Talafaroi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. How do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we'll bring you your ceruleum. I will speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree to it? No, he will not place Garlemald in the debt of her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for ceruleum outside. You are under my watch. You will come with me. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You'll out of more trouble than you're worth. Once we're outside, you'll follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. His park materials. I love that. You'll begin our search for ceruleum in Rigo Urbanissima. The first location is at Forum Solis, a park to the northwest of the station. You're to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Oh, orb. Excuse me, Julius, I have to go get an orb. This is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the Empire, the great Solus Susgalvis. My boyfriend. He was my boyfriend in another life. Did you know that? Did we come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the Machina in the vicinity. But as our ceruleum has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see. With your permission, we'll commence the search. Cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canister of Longus has been drained of ceruleum, as Julius said. The contraption is built on the side of Imperial War Machina, armed with a battery and weapons capable of transforming into different configurations, but on closer inspection it all appears to be no more than a children's slide. He ignores you as you stare into the water in silence, as if searching for something he knows is gone and will never return. Though rather small by Garlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There's nothing inside resembling a Magitech or any other device that would be fueled by ceruleum. Several points of interest are marked on the map of Forum Solus. The pond, the children's play area. To your knowledge, however, none would require the use of ceruleum. Ceruleum. It's you. Any luck? There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help but noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes. I mean, no. I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over, so like all the other children, they just had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I couldn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done, every time. And every time we get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With ceruleum-powered heater, by chance? Suppose it might have been, come to think of it. I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath the hatch. That was a long time ago, and the water still flowed clear and wasn't this brackish muck. I can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? Julius. The average Garlean would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first has seen a few foreign Sinferi and Medici, so it doesn't scare me. I take it you don't mind if I employ a little now? Alphino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, blast of verifier should do the trick. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. The tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake, like how the tappers do it. We've been talking about a shallow pond in a park, and we have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane. So, fancy a dip? Friendly competition might make things interesting. Last one to find a ceruleum tank's a rotten egg, though I dare say we'll both smell like rotten eggs when this is over. Come empty-handed. To add injury to insult, the icy wind in your damn clothes chills you to the bone. Can you attach on what you think might be a handle? Open the hatch and retrieve a ceruleum tank. However, your grand discovery comes at a great personal cost as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and rancid odor emanating from every limb of your body. Julius was doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose and shut when you deliver him your prize. Did you find anything? I sure hope you did. That's it. There's still some ceruleum left. The fire's still not ready. Hold on. I'll give Alphino a hand. They call me an old dawn because by the fire I am reborn and my clothes are mostly dry now too. Appreciate you recovering the cerulean, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, in Lord Quintus's eyes, your still envoy is deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he'd be most displeased. Your concerns duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger sibling. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did, not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire, awarded an estate. We lived, well, better than many. What was Garlemald like back in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing that they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing lights in all houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite, the ice would melt and forgotten grass would make its triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find and watch the sunrise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble, and those friends are dead, and the memories... But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had... Soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little bit longer. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search, just outside the park. I'm curious. I've been getting these coffers. What does the pewter chest give me? Maybe I'll just use it, because I mean I already like my gunbreaker armor. It's just a Charlian outfit. I should go finish the Noctis quest. As you can see, this place is littered with the remains of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than prize them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casings using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you stand well clear to avoid being hit by any shrapnel. Before bothering, though, you should check the Machina's ceruleum gauge to see if it has any left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not, since should you need more, come to me. Half full or half empty, depending on one's perspective. Jules will surely be pleased with your discovery. More explosives? Is that what I think it is? Done it again. Truly, luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we headed back. Wait here while I go and see how Alice and Alphino are faring.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we?
Thancred? Since when were you psychic?
Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
Since when did Thancred become psychic? I thought he couldn't manipulate ether and now he's psychic.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile. It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see
Among
tomorrow.
us?
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Euless spoke?
Euless.
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Eorzea to stay here, as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Everything will be alright, have faith.
Get them out of here.
Alphino and Eorzea will be fine, provided they do not resist. You may accompany me back to your camp, where I'll meet with your leader and present Lord Quintus' demands. Before we depart, however, there's something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, supplies of surrender will need to be transported here. The task falls to Legionnaires Marcellinus and Octavia, who will pilot Magitech armor to the headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the eel for further details in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. You again. Ask the eel, he said. Heh. So that's to be the way of it, after all this. How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it. For the glory of Garlemald. What do you want with me? Ask the eel, so Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand, that he would recognize a savage as a ruthless, merciless creature, and to defeat him, we too must be uncompromising. I'm ready in the name of Emperor Varus. For the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. Have you done as instructed? Their duties involve more than the transportation of supplies, don't they? Duties are a rather simple thing. We have been given additional orders, though whether we will be required to follow them depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are in this together, now, like it or not, we have to cooperate. There is one other matter, a place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here, follow me. Give me a moment, please. Euless, not Julius. They pronounced his name correctly.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. I promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center, the blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
It's no use.
Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
It's so cold.
Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varys at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people, one race cleansed of imperfections. A cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos, searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics.
Speaking of flower, am I gonna do something with my
A man
flower?
is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics. To see people as individuals, with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand. To refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Eorzea.
Thancred rescuing him? Or no? Estinian's rescuing him.
The scouts have secured Eorzea and Alphino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
You should have gone the entire time.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second. Push!
More are coming! Make ready!
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return!
Stop! Both of you! This child may be the worst emissary I have ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity. I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I, memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
Oh no. Do I need to... Should I have put a content warning on the stream?
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
He did something rash. God, this expansion's just so light-hearted and fluffy. I've got to get to work, so we're gonna wrap things up here. Let's see. No, they're an Endwalker already. I'm not gonna go over there.
So much on Earth and out.
We're going to raid Digibunny. Thank you guys for hanging out. Raid messages you have found the missing persons as usual. I will see you guys. If you're on YouTube, it's twitch.tv/Digibunny. I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Until then.